ocean goes beyond the image of an immense blue mass that covers most of the planet. It is a living tapestry, shaped by invisible boundaries. The coral reefs that rise like colorful walls, the seaweed forests that sway like submerged cathedrals, the ocean currents that function like rivers in constant movement, and even the reflections of light that draw distinct worlds in its depths. Each of these frontiers is a territory of contrast, a limit where the forces of life find themselves in an unstable balance. There, predators sneak up and prey find their last refuge. On the edges between light and dark, shallow and deep, hot and cold, is where life reinvents itself at every moment. It is in these transition zones that schools of fish gather for protection. Sharks lurk in the shadows, and tiny, nearly invisible creatures sustain the entire food chain. Nature reveals its oldest law. Survival depends on the ability to navigate these subtle margins. In the ocean, there is no such thing as chance. Every frontier is a stage, and every encounter can be decisive. For those who hunt and those who flee, life is always decided at the edges, in these fragile but vital territories where the struggle for existence takes on its most intense form. In daylight, the reefs reveal themselves as shimmering gardens, where corals, sponges, and anemones paint a mosaic of colors that rivals any tropical forest on dry land. The scene is vibrant, bustling, teeming with life that displays itself without reserve. But when the sun disappears below the horizon, this paradise changes its appearance. What was once brightness and color transforms into a labyrinth of shadows, narrow corridors, and hidden passages where every curve can hide both shelter and danger. Between the crevices and canyons that cut through the reef, deep channels act as veins of the ocean. They connect the sheltered lagoons to the vast open sea, allowing life to circulate in constant flux. There, the tides act as messengers, pushing and pulling nutrients, plankton, and schools of fish in a never-ending movement. This ceaseless movement of organisms, from the smallest fragments of plankton to wounded prey struggling to escape, creates a moving banquet, a spectacle of abundance that sustains both nocturnal hunters and those waiting in the silence of caves. For many animals, these corridors are vital shortcuts. For others, they are inevitable traps. In the heart of the marine night, the reef ceases to be merely a backdrop and becomes a stage for strategies. Each creature, guided by the invisible force of the tides, plays its part in an ancient dance where survival and opportunity intertwine with every current. It is in this pulsating corridor that one of the ocean's most iconic hunters emerges, the tiger shark, a striped shadow that glides calmly, almost imperceptibly, but whose presence transforms silence into tension. Unlike smaller fish that fight the current, the shark incorporates it into its own body. Every movement of its caudal fin is calculated, every glide an exercise in efficiency. The secret lies in its anatomy. Its fusiform body, designed by evolution over millions of years, cuts through the water like a blade. It doesn't fight the tide, it masters it. This ability makes the tiger shark a unique predator. Instead of chasing prey in exhausting races, it prefers to wait patiently, letting the current bring it opportunities. What appears to the untrained eye as a calm prowl is actually a choreography of precision. Every subtle deviation, every curve of its body, is part of an energy-saving strategy. The tiger shark doesn't act impulsively. It observes, calculates, and waits for the exact moment when its moving feast becomes vulnerable. In the dark corridor of the reef, his presence is at once discreet and inevitable. He is the invisible guardian of the marine night, where survival belongs to those who know how to wait. What would be invisible to us is a luminous beacon for the shark. In the vast silence of the ocean, a single drop of blood or the discreet release of amino acids by an injured fish becomes a chemical map that spreads through the current. While our senses are limited to sight and hearing, the shark reads the sea with another alphabet, that of smell. Its nostril receptors are so sensitive that they detect minute concentrations, equivalent to a single molecule diluted in millions of liters of water. For it, each current is a page, each odor a clue. The predator doesn't swim in a straight line. It advances in a zigzag pattern, correcting its trajectory with each chemical signal it encounters. This behavior, known as chemotaxis, transforms the ocean into a three-dimensional scent book. Every current, every eddy carries invisible stories. Who passed by, who was injured, who is alive, and who is dying. The shark deciphers these messages with a precision beyond our imagination. Thus, in an environment where vision fades into darkness and sounds are lost in the vastness, smell becomes the ultimate compass. It is through smell that the shark constructs its world, a universe written not in light, but in smells. On the other side of the planet, on the border between the dense kelp forests and the infinity of the open ocean, lurks a predator with an almost mythical reputation, the great white shark. At first glance, it appears motionless, a shadow suspended in the cold waters. But inside, every muscle is on standby, every fiber poised to unleash explosive force. The secret of this hunter lies in its unique physiology. Unlike most fish, the great white shark keeps its muscles and even its eyes warm through a system called the rete mirabile, a network of blood vessels that acts as a heat exchanger. This adaptation gives it exceptional performance, sharper vision, faster reflexes, and muscular power that can be activated in fractions of a second. When the opportunity arises, the transformation is instantaneous. The seemingly serene body shoots like an arrow. In a devastating vertical leap, the shark crosses the water column with precise violence, surprising prey swimming near the surface. Just as every current connects the ocean, your support connects this message to more people. Like, subscribe, and continue sailing with us on this blue journey. The scene is as sudden as it is dramatic, an instant of absolute calm followed by an explosion of speed and impact. In waters where the invisible decides fate, the great white shark is the embodiment of the unexpected, a master at transforming silence into ambush. In the heart of the open ocean, where there are no reefs or underwater forests to serve as a reference, another master of the marine frontiers emerges, the tuna. A creature forged for speed and endurance, it is capable of crossing entire oceans, guided by subtle temperature gradients that draw invisible paths between continents. The secret to its supremacy lies in a rare adaptation. Unlike most fish, tuna can keep its muscles, eyes, and even brain warm. This partial endothermy system ensures fast reflexes, sharp vision, and muscles that don't cool down even in icy waters. While other fish slow down in cold currents, tuna does the opposite. It speeds up. Each beat of its crescent-shaped tail fin is a stroke of hydrodynamic power. It reaches speeds comparable to those of a moving car, transforming the ocean into a highway without borders. A tireless traveler, it follows schools of fish, pursuing schools of sardines or mackerel that also move with the great ocean currents. But their survival depends on a delicate balance. Ocean currents, which have guided their migrations for millions of years, are now threatened by global warming. Small changes in water temperature have the power to disrupt ancestral routes, reduce prey stocks, and jeopardize the future of this species. The tuna, a symbol of strength and resilience, is also a reminder of the fragility of the invisible pathways that sustain life in the ocean. Near submerged mountains, true islands that never emerged, colossal silhouettes appear, giant manta rays. Nothing about their appearance is random. They follow invisible clues, guided by ocean currents that concentrate rivers of plankton, the essential food that sustains life in the depths. With mouths open like vast living nets, they filter millions of microscopic particles with every movement. Each stroke of their pectoral fins, as wide as wings, transforms the water into a gentle whirlpool that carries nutrients into their bodies. Alone, they seem like silent travelers. In groups, they become protagonists of truly choreographed spectacles. In perfect circles, they glide over each other, forming dances that blend feeding and ritual. There are elegant chases, synchronized movements, and even courtship performances, displays of vigor that can decide future mates. It's as if the ocean, faced with such encounters, transforms into a stage for an ethereal ballet, driven by the invisible force of the tides. Despite their immense size, manta rays are gentle creatures, patient filter feeders that depend on a delicate balance between currents, plankton, and water temperature. Each appearance is a reminder of the complex harmony that sustains the ocean. Giants that transform the simple need to feed into a hypnotic spectacle of life and beauty. Not all ocean hunters rely on brute force. Many exploit the invisible, silent weapons shaped by evolution. In the shallow waters of mangroves, for example, lurk cubic jellyfish, also called cubozoans. Their nearly transparent tentacles are stretched out like silk threads in a lethal net. Each shot of their stinging cells is calculated with microscopic precision, injecting toxins capable of paralyzing even agile prey in seconds. For the victim, a simple touch can mean doom. Further on, other masters of illusion emerge: squid and octopus. Equipped with chromatophores, specialized cells that expand and retract pigments, they can change color, texture, and even reflect light in fractions of a second. Thus, they transform themselves into algae-covered rocks, coral fragments, or pure shadow dissolving in the water. But these artists of disguise aren't limited to defensive camouflage. In daring hunts, they become visual strategists. Octopuses can create distractions with jets of ink, forming dark clouds that confuse predators. Squid, on the other hand, sometimes resort to spectacle. Their bodies glow with bursts of bioluminescent light, creating moving illusions that disorient entire schools of fish. Here, hunting is more than stalking. It's deceiving, manipulating, turning one's own body into a trap. In the ocean, where every encounter can decide life or death, intelligence and illusion are weapons as effective as teeth or speed. In the heart of the reef, the moray eel transforms every crevice into a fortress. Its sinuous body remains motionless, hidden among rocks and coral, like a silent spring about to be released. When prey approaches, the attack is devastating. The moray eel releases not only its external mouth, but also an internal jaw, a rare adaptation among fish that projects forward, grabs the victim, and drags it into the darkness. There, between narrow passages, there is no escape. It is the very architecture of the reef transformed into a trap. While some creatures specialize in shadowy ambush, others master the art of daylight cooperation. In shallow waters, pods of dolphins display refined intelligence by manipulating the environment to their advantage. They swim in perfect circles, slamming their tails against the sandy bottom, stirring up columns of sediment in tight spirals. Trapped in this maelstrom, the schools lose their bearings, as if entangled in invisible nets. This technique, known as ring fencing, is one of the most remarkable examples of cooperative hunting in the animal kingdom. Each individual occupies a specific position, each movement calculated, as if the entire group were a single organism. The physics of water, which to us seems uncontrollable, becomes a precision tool in the hands, or rather, the fins, of these mammals. In the ocean, survival takes many forms. Some hide in the darkness of the rocks, others turn the light and sand into allies. Here, hunting isn't just stalking, but manipulating the invisible rules that govern the sea. From tiny sea turtles that, as newborns, instinctively follow the moonlight out to sea, to giant sperm whales that dive kilometers deep and transform sound into vision through echolocation, all depend on invisible trails to exist. These routes are not drawn on maps, but written in the tides, in ocean currents, in the reflections of light, and even in the shadows that move across the surface. The ocean, at first glance an infinite and uniform space, is actually a mosaic of edges. Subtle boundaries that separate warm waters from cold waters, zones of light from zones of darkness, sheltered reefs from the open sea. It is at these boundaries that life finds new opportunities, where predators and prey face off in an unstable balance. For hunters, understanding these boundaries is more than an advantage. It's the difference between success and failure. Those who master these invisible lines not only survive, but also transform hunting into an art. The shark that reads scents like maps, the dolphin that manipulates the physics of sand, the eel that turns crevices into traps, they all share a common secret. In the ocean, life reinvents itself at its edges. And it is there, on the frontiers of the invisible, that the sea reveals its essence, a universe in constant transformation, where survival means deciphering the hidden codes that divide and at the same time connect the underwater world. The ocean is more than a distant landscape. It is the blue heart of our planet. Every current, every invisible boundary sustains not only marine life, but also the balance that ensures our very existence on dry land. Protecting the seas means protecting the air we breathe, the climate that surrounds us, and the future of future generations. The beauty we've seen here, from newborn turtles to the giants of the deep, can only continue if we learn to respect and preserve these waters. Every gesture, no matter how small, helps keep this natural heritage alive. If this documentary brought you a new perspective on marine life, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to continue navigating with us through other journeys into the wild world. And to show that you were with us until the end, comment with the keyword Guardian of the Oceans. This way, I'll know that you are among those who believe in the power of preservation.